Shalom, this is Daniel Stern of the Netivyah Bible Instruction Ministry in Jerusalem. Today is Thursday, March 7th, and I wanted to share with you a short update about what's going on here with the war and other matters, possibly, and then later share about one of the units that we've helped throughout the war. So, the first thing that I wanted to address is the situation with Lebanon. As you, I hope by now know, the Hezbollah, which might I remind you is an integral part of the Lebanese government, has been attacking Israel on a daily basis with dozens of ballistic missiles daily being shot from Lebanon into Israel. And of course, I mean, just imagine if your country, your city, was being shelled daily with dozens of missiles for many a month, causing tens of thousands of civilians to need to relocate. I assume that you would expect a harsh reaction by your government and your army. So unfortunately, that harsh reaction hasn't yet happened. We're still working to contain the situation and to ignore the threats, but they still come. And unfortunately, the reality will always win when confronted with people's wishes and desires. So there are daily, every day, there are dozens of ballistic missiles being shot from Lebanon by the Hezbollah into Israel. Additionally, in Gaza, the IDF is still working. There are constant attempts to find some negotiable grounds for returning hostages and a short cessation of violence. Unfortunately, those are unsuccessful, or fortunately, depends on your opinion. The Hamas is not willing to consider returning hostages until Israel has withdrawn its forces from the Gaza Strip and, of course, stopped doing its military activities in the area. Israel says that it must continue the job, finish the 6 more battalions of Hamas soldiers that are left, 4 of them in the Rafah border crossing city. So we'll wait and see. There's a lot of pressure by foreign sources, mainly the United States and France currently, to try to end this operation before we finish the job, before we defeat the Hamas, before we put enough pressure on them to get our hostages back. Unfortunately, people seem to be lost in La La Land and don't understand that if we stop before the job is done, and if we continue to give hundreds of trucks of humanitarian aid to the Hamas, which is really the only people that are getting it, then we're rewarding terrorism and encouraging them to continue. But I can go into that a little more later. Let's move on. I'd like to share with you at this point a little bit about one of the units that we've been helping since the war started. This is a unit from the center of the country, the Judea and Samaria district, and it is their search and rescue unit. Basically, it's an army forensics unit that gets called out when, for example, a soldier that was supposed to show up at his base on Sunday morning didn't show up. And then this unit starts to track down leads of which bus did he take, which bus stops would he have gone to. They go to the area, they try to find, pieces of cloth, DNA, and figure out where he could be, whether something terrible had happened to him, like he was kidnapped, or whether something less terrible happened, like he had a mental breakdown and is nowhere to be seen, or any other reason for him not showing up. And occasionally they're also called in when there's civilian people missing. And in this case, what they did was, as soon as the war started, they went down to the Gaza periphery, all the towns that had the massacres on October 7th, and they were not in the towns, but they were in the fields looking for traces of missing people. And we assisted them with, here's a certificate that they made for us, for Netivyah, and I'd like to read it to you, and then I'll tell you with what we assisted them. So, the certificate says, to Netivyah, for in gratitude of your contribution to the unit for finding missing people, the Judea and Samaria squad, the unit worked in the Gaza periphery region and were able to locate and identify many missing people and bring the dead to be buried in Israel. And I can tell you that this picture over here is one of the backpacks that we gave them. Additionally, they were specific backpacks that they asked for, very certain size, certain capabilities. Additionally, we gave them helmets and we gave them special flashlights. And they were able to find 15 people that were not in the towns, not at the Nova massacre, not in the settlements, but that were spread out in the open areas, and they were able to bring them to be buried. So this is a very important unit, and I will, over the next videos, keep sharing with you a little bit about the different units that we've been helping. And when I say we, I don't mean Netivyah, I mean all of us, because it's only with your help, with you partnering with us, that we have been able to help these thousands of soldiers do their job, protect Israel, protect democracy, and protect our way of life. So let's keep supporting the soldiers so that they can continue doing what they need to do in the best way possible. And God bless you all.